Here we are with Eliana. Eliana, say hello to the Torah Life audience.
Hi, Torah Life.
Eliana, you recently discovered the Hebrew roots, is that correct?
Yes.
Can you explain what led up to you discovering the Hebrew roots?
I would say maybe about 3 years ago, we were kind of just tired of Christmas and the commercialism, watching the commercials. And somehow we did Hanukkah. Couldn't tell you how that happened. Then the next year, the following season, we did Hanukkah and Christmas together. And last year, maybe, or maybe it was 2 years ago, we decided, you know what, let's just put Christmas aside and do Hanukkah. And our son loved it. But then once we did that, we saw the festivals. There was more festivals to do. This wasn't a festival. Hanukkah wasn't. It was just a memorial. But we began doing the festivals as a family. We went through them as a homeschool curriculum, and we were just amazed by what we saw as far as the relation between Yeshua and the festivals past and present.
When you started keeping the festivals and started to change your Christian beliefs, how did other people, your friends and your family, react?
Actually, really good, because I was homeschooled growing up, and we did all the festivals one year as a family. So my family was excited. Our friends were excited because they saw how passionate we were about what we were learning. It got more serious after we became more serious, when it became more than just the festivals, when we decided we wanted to honor Sabbath, being Sabbath is the first festival listed in Exodus 23. Our family really got more serious that way, and that's when people started not thinking it was as fun.
And for those people that don't know, what is Hebrew roots?
When you return to Torah, it's returning to the law that we have been told, for so long, that is not what we need to do anymore.
Well, in Christianity, they teach that we're not under the law and we don't have to keep the law. And is that what you were brought up with, understanding?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I guess just going through the festivals and seeing different wordage that said forever, we realized that there's a lot of things that haven't passed away. And when we realized the festivals hadn't passed away, we realized maybe there's other things that haven't passed away as well. And maybe what we've been told with the law being passed away isn't necessarily true either. So the Hebrew roots movement means returning to the real origins, I guess.
And in all the years of your Christian walk, nobody has brought this up to you prior to this?
No, and we had to learn a lot of it on our own, and just from trying to dig and study through history and study word searches through the word ourselves, because there wasn't anybody we really knew personally at the time.
And when you discovered the Hebrew roots, what kind of church were you going to?
Non-denominational, I would say, and then from there we were in ministry for about 11 years, so we were on church staff ministry, but we started feeling a drawing, a pulling away from traditional things of what we were brought up with when we started honoring the festivals and the food laws that are in Torah. And from there we went to a Baptist church because it was just close to home, and then from there we went to a Messianic congregation.
And what was the reaction to the pastors at the non-denominational church you were going to when they started to realize that you were keeping Torah or attempting to keep Torah?
Well, the one we were on staff with, we didn't tell them. We didn't talk about that because we weren't really in Torah at the time. We were just doing the festivals, and we were doing, we had years and years before even finding Torah or hearing about Torah, we had done a study about food and looked at the Bible from a health standpoint and saw that the food laws had not passed away, that Yeshua coming and raising and dying didn't make food all clean. So they weren't always on board. We used to get teased on staff about our food issues and how we were in legalism, but they didn't know about the rest. We really stepped down as we felt led. As we knew this was becoming more serious, we had stepped down. But nobody really knew much about, they didn't know where we were headed, and we didn't know where we were headed at the time.
What advice would you have for other Christians out there that haven't been exposed to understanding that Torah is applicable in our lives today, and it's not all just about this grace?
I would just say study. My biggest thing, I blog a lot and I write, study to show yourself approved. For so long, even ourselves in ministry, we just took the doctrine that we were given as doctrine and never ever questioned it, ever. It was just what we did and what our parents did and what tradition after tradition and generation after generation did. So I would definitely just encourage you, go and study for yourself, looking up the things that Yahweh said were forever. That was our big hit, was like what things were forever.
Have you gotten any negative reply from any of your friends or family about this?
Not so much verbally, no, but sometimes just might be an email or just a comment or something like that, but not horribly bad.
If somebody would have told you 5 years ago that today you would be having this outlook on the scriptures versus back then, what do you think your feedback would have been back then about it?
I don't know. I mean, I think I might have been a little bit better than some people are receiving it when they hear it because, like I said, 6-7 years ago, we had already done a health standpoint view of the Torah and seen that that the food laws were important. So maybe I would have been a little okay with it, but I don't know. That's really hard to say how we would have been.
And how was your experience when you first went to a Messianic congregation and you started to see that there was also traditions of men attached to that?
At first it was exciting, honestly, because we went and we came back the next day, told some friends about it, that how excited we were. It just finally felt a place we connected. But the more that we began attending, the more we saw that there was a lot of just man-made traditions, and they had been just as long and old and deep-rooted as the ones we grew up with. But at the point where we were in our life at that time, it was just very important for us to just get narrowed down to what was important in the Word.
So you mentioned you had a blog. If people want to get in touch with you or read about what you're going through, what's your blog?
We have two, but I'll give you the one that we use update the most, and that's myhalakha.blogspot.com.
Is there anything you'd like to say in closing to people out there?
Well, don't just look at how I am now and think that's where we started. A lot of stuff has grown. We've really only been Torah pursuant, maybe 10, 11 months. But just go study to show yourself approved, because when it's you and Yahweh alone in that throne room, we can't point back to man and say, well, he said and I believed him. Yahweh wants to know if we listen to what he said, if we believed what he said and did what he said. So definitely go study and show yourself approved.
Great, thank you very much.
Come out of the world, oh my people, seek the truth, avoid the evil, learn Yahweh's ways, Torah Life Ministries, come out of the world.